This video is about my education and career and all the things that I've done to get to where we are today. I was born September 14th, 1954 in Annapolis, Maryland. My dad was teaching at the Naval Academy in the engineering department. He was in the Navy. And I'm the oldest of four boys born to my parents. My mom and dad had four boys in 5 years. So, I mean, they're really cranking out the boys. I think they wanted a girl, but they never got one and finally gave up. So after my dad was done teaching at the academy, we moved to Austin, Texas in 1957. And then after he wondered what in the world they were doing in Texas after he had spent so much of his Navy time in San Diego, they decided to move out to California in 1959. So we moved on out there to Santa Cruz, California, and I started kindergarten at Branch 40 Elementary School in Santa Cruz, California in 1959. And to get there, it was fun. I would have to walk a half a mile down a country road. It's not country anymore, it's all suburbs now, but down a country road, past the lady with the chickens and the maple sugar candies, stand on a corner by myself where the bus would pick me up, take me to kindergarten in the morning, bring me back in the afternoon and drop me off. Usually about when I was dropped off, the milk truck would be going by, and sometimes a milk truck guy would give me a ride in the milk truck back to our house down the canyon. I'm sure that wouldn't happen much anymore these days, not safe, but it was all fine. So yeah, it was a very different experience. I had a lot of freedom. Enjoyed kindergarten, and then the next year we moved to Escalona Drive in Santa Cruz, and I would walk to school. It was like 6 blocks, and cross California Highway 1, and went to Bayview Elementary School through 4th grade. And had fun there. Played a lot of kickball, played a lot on the jungle gym, had lots of friends. Used to roam all over that side of Santa Cruz on our initially tricycles and then bikes. I remember riding down to the beach one time on my tricycle with some friends. That wouldn't happen these days either. Roaming all the way up to West Lake and down to the beach and the Indian caves. Lots of adventures. 1964, excuse me. We moved up towards San Francisco. My dad wanted to work for the headquarters of his company as the chief engineer, and we moved to Tiburon, California. I went to Bel Air Elementary School and walked there every day. It was like a half a mile away. And I remember looking out the window back when the train ran to Tiburon. It would come trundling by the school. That was the high point of the day every day. And then we moved over to Corte Madera on Privateer Drive, and with a view of San Quentin Prison across the bay. I went to Del Mar Middle School at that time. So let's see, I remember somehow getting to school, I guess. Oh yeah, we took the school bus most of the time. Sometimes my mom would drop me off. We took the school bus with the other kids from the area around the peninsula over to the school. And then the next year, in 1967, my parents built a house in Tiburon overlooking the bay, and it was like a block from Del Mar Middle School, so I went to Del Mar. Then started at Redwood High School in Larkspur, which was about 6 or 7 miles away. The first year we didn't have school buses, so I had to get on the Greyhound down at the bottom of the hill, ride over to Mill Valley and transfer on the Greyhound up to school, and then coming back the same thing. Starting in 8th grade, however, they had school buses, but my mom had graduated with her master's degree in library science from Berkeley and started working at a school up near our high school. So she drove us to school every day. Occasionally, we rode our bikes though when the weather was nice, which was about 6 miles and around along the coast up to school, and that was fun. But mostly, Mom took us and dropped us off. I graduated from Redwood High School as a co-valedictorian with another friend of mine in 1972. Oh, I forgot, in 1971, summer of 71, I went to the University of Wyoming for a summer school in physics and math, and that was fun. It was in Laramie, Wyoming. Lived in the dorm, lived away from home, which was exciting. Had all kinds of field trips all over to Denver, up to northern Wyoming, doing all kinds of fun stuff. It was a great summer with about 50 other kids who became very good friends. And that was pretty adventurous, and 2 of my brothers did the same thing in their time. Anyway, so graduated from Redwood High School in 72, and then applied to 6 schools, applied to Berkeley, Stanford, Rice University in Houston, Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, MIT in Boston. Oh, I guess I applied 7 schools, Air Force Academy and the Naval Academy in Annapolis, and was accepted at all of them, and chose to go to MIT. I had a scholarship at MIT. I had a very low draft number that year by my birthday. Vietnam War was still going, so I decided to go to MIT on an Air Force ROTC scholarship. I got a Navy scholarship as well, but I decided to go with the Air Force because that sounded like more fun flying planes, so I did. Went to MIT, majored in civil engineering. My first day in physics class was an adventure. They said, okay, here's everything you learned in high school physics. Now let's move on, and it took off from there. A lot of calculus involved. I had never taken calculus, so that was a little scary, but managed to get through it. Good thing first year at MIT was pass-fail at the time. I passed, but I'm glad I didn't have grades A, B, C, and so on. Yeah, MIT was pretty adventurous. A lot of math, a lot of calculus. I had to take calculus. I took 3 courses in calculus. The first time through, I got a C, I think. Second time through, I started to understand it. And the third time, differential equations, was applied calculus. I finally understood it. It was a really good professor. He told us what to do with calculus, which was pretty amazing. I thought, oh, this is really pretty easy once you understand what you're trying to do with it. It wasn't all memorization, it's actually application. So that was cool. That was a real eye-opener to me that math could be fun. Took a lot of engineering courses, lots of theory, not really much application. Wasn't sure how to be an engineer after that, but so I found, most jobs you learn on the job what you're going to end up doing, and then school just kind of gets you in the door, unless you're in a real specialized program, and even then that's going to be in your doctoral level classes, master's and doctorate. Yeah, I took a lot of music classes too out at Wellesley College, which was our sister school for women, and met a lot of nice girls out there. Took music theory, composition, some art courses, but finally I had to quit art halfway through because my engineering courses were getting too tough, which was disappointing, but there it is. I was on the cross-country ski team and just the ski team generally at MIT all 4 years. Did a lot of cross-country ski racing, was never very good, had to run a lot, hated running for practice and weightlifting, but it kept me in shape. Got to where I could run a mile in about 6 minutes. Can't do that now. But yeah, we do a lot of ski meets up in Vermont and New Hampshire. They wanted me to be on the ski jumping team, but the skis were like taller than me and weighed about as much as I did. And I thought, I watched these guys go off the jump and I thought, they are out of control. They go off this jump and I saw many of them crash and burn. The outrun was icy and they had a bus with hay bales piled up against it to stop in case they couldn't stop. And I thought, this is crazy. I'm going to get killed doing ski jumping. So I passed on that. My other friends, some of them did the jumping, but it just looked crazy to me. The cross country skiing was crazy enough on the ice and the sub-zero weather, but I did it and it was fun. I also learned to play the cello while I was there. My parents had not wanted us to learn musical instruments when we were little. They had been forced to learn musical instruments as kids. My dad played the violin. He played in the Austin Symphony for a while. My mom played piano. I don't remember her playing very much, but she said she did and didn't seem to enjoy it very much. My dad enjoyed the violin, but I never heard him play that much either. He preferred the guitar after he got out of college. Anyway, so my girlfriends had always played viola, and I thought, well, I'd like to play the cello, which was a mistake because it's too big to carry around conveniently. Really should have taken up the viola. But I enjoyed the cello, and I got a teacher who was a student of Yo-Yo Ma, who was also a student at the time when I was in school. And he taught me how to play reasonably well, so I joined pit orchestras at MIT, played in music for plays. I was usually one of two cellos. They were happy to have me, even though I was lousy. Cello play music, I mean, it's tempo keeps changing, the key keeps changing. I could read like one or two sharps. And anyway, I bluffed my way through it and enjoyed it and played Fiddler on the Roof and some other plays, and it was a good time. I did graduate from MIT with, I think, a 3.5 GPA, which was astounding. Not like my brother Steve. All four of my brothers went to MIT. All three of us brothers, my three brothers. Steve, of course, had like a 4.0, I think, with no effort. He never seemed to study. I had to study all the time. I mean, we had problem sets that lasted for days, solving calculus problems. It was horrendous. Steve seemed to breeze through it. So when he was there, I was in a couple of same classes with him at the time because he was much faster than I was. And I had to ask him to help me with homework. I'm glad he was there. He's a really sharp guy. Dave came along when I was a senior. John came after I left, but he only attended 1 year. He decided he really had always wanted to be a trucker. That was the glamorous thing at the time, be a truck driver, like the song Convoy and some others. So he went off to be a trucker, and 10 years later went back to school and ended up getting his doctorate in cell or plant biology, genetics.